Hello, everybody. I'm Alfred, and I would like to talk about what just happened in Kwara State at CAC Church. You know, I just watched the video, and it's hard for me to really talk about this. But this is the kind of thing that has been going on in Nigeria for years. It's definitely increasing in its frequency and in the number of Christian casualties. But the media is lying. The Nigerian media is lying that is not happening. The Nigerian government is lying that is not happening. But we saw that CAC live stream. Those are Christians who just gathered in Kwara State in their church to pray and worship God. Just last night. And this is very interesting. Since Trump said what he said, which is only a threat to terrorists. He said that he's going to come to take out the terrorists if the government does not do that. That should not offend any Nigerian. That should not offend the Nigerian government. As a matter of fact, America has been supplying Nigeria with weapons and money to fight terrorism. So why would the government now be angry? And then we have stupid people like ipod, who is clearly all about money. And this, you also have to look at one of the markers on people is look at how people treat Christians, what people think about Christians, what people think about God. From the moment that Peter Obi opened his mouth and said that he's going to turn night vigil into night shifts, that was when I turned my back on that guy and I knew that something was wrong with him. What kind of stupid statement is that? You will turn night vigil to night shift. For a government official to say that, keep in mind that governments and leaders have the power to force people to do anything they want, and they have. As a matter of fact, all Christian persecution is because of the government. And this is why I keep emphasizing when I talk about the 7 mountains and beyond, and I talk about Christians going into politics, there are people who want to complain. Why do you think that Christians must go into politics? Why do you think that Christians must go into business? Why do you think Christians must have money? Because if Christians don't have money, Christians will be persecuted. Those who have money run the world. The popular quote by Rothschild, give me control of a nation's wealth and I care not who makes the laws. If you control the wealth, you control the kings, you control the laws. And the laws in this world are written by men. If Christians don't go into politics, if Christians are not in charge, if Christians are not the kings, they are stupid, evil people who will say that, what about, are they not Christians in politics? Are they not this person not a Christian, that person not a Christian? You mean all those people that are stealing money left, right, and right, how are they Christian? It's funny how, when it's convenient, people just call any and anybody Christian. You see all these politicians that have never been to church before, it is only when they are running for office that you will see them at the churches that have the biggest population. Then after that, they never do anything in church. They will never even communicate with that pastor again. That pastor that allowed them and gave them seats to come and sit in church. And a lot of times people say, why do pastors give them seats? You have to understand the political structure and a lot of these pastors. And like a lot of things pastors don't know. That is also why I'm saying many of the things that I'm saying. A lot of pastors are afraid of politicians. So when a powerful politician who has the right to revoke your land that church is, says they want to come to your church, you will give him high table. A lot of pastors are afraid of politicians. That is the fact. The few, it's only even among the rich, because keep in mind, their money pass money. It is not enough. Somebody said on YouTube, a pastor from another country was saying that why is it there are so many rich pastors in Nigeria, but yet all this nonsense is happening in the north? They are just killing Christians left and right. Let me tell you why. Because the rich pastors in Nigeria, your money does not pass the money of those sponsoring Boko Haram. And you are not in politics at all. You believe that it is wrong for a Christian to be in politics. And there are people who say that pastors have relationship with politicians. No, they have no influence. When you look at somebody like, for example, Pastor Adeboye and Tinubu, that is just a situation where Tinubu wants to take advantage of Pastor Adeboye's position and reach and influence. I want Christians to vote for me. That is that. It is not like Pastor Adeboye can call Tinubu and say, take this step, and Tinubu will take it. Let us not be idiots. Pastor Adeboye is not on that level. But he's on a level to do that with those who are his spiritual children and many people who will listen to him. Why are those people not in politics? This is the thing. A couple of Muslims will enter a country. They will plan. In a few years, with their structure, they will get to 50%. Next thing, they take over the whole country. Look at London. You preach the gospel in London. How many videos have you seen on Instagram? Somebody preaches the gospel in London. They arrest them. The police arrest them. But in that same London, that was once a Christian nation that actually introduced, along with colonization, they injected Christianity, they packaged the Catholic version of Christianity, and was exporting Christianity, the Catholic version, to the rest of the world. That same nation is now currently persecuting Christians who preach. You cannot pray outside if you're a Christian, but you can block the road if you're a Muslim and then kneel down with your mat. If you're a Muslim, today in London, they are now doing all that call for prayer outside in London. But if you're a church in London, when you start your own church, you have to do it soundproof it, so that those outside will not hear anything. It is not like Nigerian churches where when somebody, you are having church service, everybody in the whole street can hear what is happening in your church. Oh, there's someone you appreciate. No, you pass the door of a church in UK. You don't even know that it is church that is there. Soundproof conference room. They don't want you to hear. But in that same UK, you can do now Muslim morning cry, and with loudspeaker and all the whole streets. Why? Because of planning. The Muslims are now the ones in the government, the governor, the mayor of London, all of that. They have their strategy in all the different positions. So they are spreading. The limitations don't apply to them. But the once Christian nation that was exporting Christianity, the Catholic version of Christianity is now persecuted. Now look at Nigeria. Christian pastors, yes, some of them are super wealthy, but they have no say and power in politics. In addition to that, they are the ones that are very irresponsible. Very irresponsible. There are some pastors that have come out to say there is no Christian genocide. How mentally ill? The whole world has seen it, have seen the videos. Look at this live stream just yesterday night. Everybody has seen it. Look at the situation with the brigadier general that was killed. You know, right after that, the whole drama of that altercation with that Lieutenant Yariba and Wike. Then there was the Sahara Reporter news that there was a brigadier general that was killed. Then the military came out and said, oh, there's no such thing. That yes, well, that there was an ambush, but it was too 2 people died, but no brigadier general was killed. After that, after the military had in mind to come and lie to the whole of Nigeria that there was no brigadier general that was killed, we now saw videos. Then the terrorists themselves, who for some strange reason are not censored, posted on their own accounts the videos of them catching the brigadier general and killing him. They posted it themselves. And then, this is funny, the Islamic media, other channels now posted it. And this is another thing, they just cooperate with themselves. The Islamic media in like Al Jazeera and all the other ones that are in Qatar and Iran, they stick to their own propaganda. It's united and planned. But Christians do not have any plan. You know, recently, I believe it was Pastor Paul Adefrasin. I don't know which branch of House on the Rock Church. I don't know whether it was in Lagos or one of the House on the Rocks in the north. But a pastor there, decided, not Pastor Paul Adefrasin himself, but someone under him, came out and was preaching that Christians should, we need to get involved in self-defense, that we need to get guns and all of that. And he carried, an AK-47. That day, he was arrested. Today, I don't know what has happened to him. There was a pastor preaching in House of Rock that Christians should defend themselves. There's the other guy, Sunday, who was defending himself from a Fulani militia that came to kill him. The guy actually stabbed him, but in the tussle with the Fulani guy, that came to kill him, he disarmed him and killed the Fulani guy. He's in prison now. He has been given death sentence that he will die. So, if you're a Christian, you should just wait and die. If you're a Christian in the north, that is the government policy. This is why I talk about Christians in politics. The church as a whole, we must be conscious. This is who we are voting for, and it's not somebody that is a stranger that comes to sell themselves to the church like all these politicians are doing. No, somebody that grew up in church with us. We know. We saw them through their childhood. They grew up in church beside us. Their family is in church. Every Sunday, whether they are president or whatever, in Senate or whatever, they come to church. Sunday service, midweek service, they are always in church. They are one of us. And throughout we have our church plan of what you are going to be doing to protect Christians. Those are the people we should have in every level, not just presidency, chairman, every level. Because keep in mind, I have said it on multiple occasions, that darkness is not necessarily the opposite of light. Darkness is what is when light is absent. Therefore, if Christians is truly the light of the world, if Jesus Christ truly is light, when Jesus is absent from a place, what is there? Darkness. When Jesus is absent from politics, Jesus has made it clear that the church is the light of the world. If the church is absent from the area of politics, it is the devil that will be there. It is darkness that is going to be there. If the church is absent from the leadership of business, it is the devil that will be there. Look at all the porn on the internet. If it was a Christian, if it was the church with church beliefs that created the internet, keep in mind the internet was created by the US military, and there were several people that championed it. And now, for those of you who think the internet cannot be controlled, that things are organic on the internet, there's nothing that is organic on the internet. Don't deceive yourself. You see, the algorithms are written by human beings. And when you understand truly what an algorithm is, what the algorithm may choose, what in particular may not be initially predictable, but the criteria for what the algorithm is going to choose is written and determined by the algorithm. That is the definition of an algorithm. It has to meet this criteria and that criteria. So they can include in the criteria not too much Jesus stuff. Or if you post Jesus stuff, post it to only people who are interested in Christian content. But if you post gay LGBT stuff, post it to everybody, including Christians who clearly are not interested. Let us push this one. So all these things are there. It is just like if you own a TV channel, there's no way somebody can come on your TV channel that you own and insult your own mother, and then it will air. It will never air. And that person will never be invited back. You own the TV channel. You see, it's like TBN. You can't see a TBN sermon that is insulting or so-called exposing the wrongs in the life of Paul Crouch Sr. or Jane Crouch. It will never happen. You know? So in the same way, why would MTV be showing the gospel or anything except from promoting sexual perversion? So understand these things. Where we have created a world where we allow Satan to own everything. You know, when Christians, when we read the Bible and see that the world this, the world that, understand what you are reading. Don't think that, oh, because the devil is called the prince of this world and all of that, you now think that everything must belong to the devil, that, you know, popularity, this and that must belong to the devil. No. Understand what you are reading and where you are reading it. When you are reading things before the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus, that is a different dispensation. After the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus, all authority was given to the church. If the church wanted to stop persecution, the church could have. How? By going into politics. Throughout the Bible, they didn't. In the book of Acts, when the Christian persecution stopped from the Roman Empire, when Christians got into politics, or rather, I should say, when the politicians decided that we keep killing these Christians and it keeps growing, so let us co-opt Christianity. So they invented the Catholic Church, and that is when, you know, Emperor Constantine, you know, woke up and said that he has converted to Christianity. And then his mother said that she saw a vision of Jesus, and Jesus appeared to her and said that they conquer in the name of Rome, which is ridiculous. Because why would Jesus say that? Jesus is not Roman. As a matter of fact, when they wanted to make Jesus king, what did he say? No. So why does he now want wants to be king and in the name of Rome, not even in the name of Israel or in the name of the house of David, in the name of Rome? But anyway, that was how the persecution stopped. You know, at least, you know, on a large scale, you know, technically, what they now did was they created their own version of Christianity. And then, because that is the most effective way to attack Christianity, you know, till today, create a counterfeit Christianity. So they created the Catholic Church, and then everybody, you know, it was like, oh, this is the real Christianity. This is what Christianity is. So the official underground Christianity and its teachings, a lot of what those apostles did, you know, as they were killed and they died out, you know, apart from that, that message, now it was not like there are different things, different messages. So the Catholic Church now branded everything non-Catholic as apostasy, as false doctrine. You know, so they called everything, including the real Christianity that was there before them, they called everything fake and apostasy. And then it was their own counterfeit version of Christianity that they now call the real Christianity. So that was the genius moves of Rome. And that is the story of the origin of the Catholic Church. But, you know, that's a topic for another day. What I want to point to you is the fact that it was when politics entered the picture, you saw that change. As a matter of fact, the Antichrist is all about politics. Take away political power from the Antichrist, and who is the Antichrist? The Antichrist is just a ridiculous madman who hates Christianity without power. He cannot do anything. He cannot persecute Christians. He cannot do anything. The Antichrist is just a politician, a very powerful politician who hates Christianity. That is all the Antichrist is. So that is the importance of the church in politics, you know, and not all these people that are emergency church. It's funny, some people just call any and anybody Christian nowadays. It's just like some of these um, Muslims on Twitter that want to make it look like um, and like to say that Christians are killing uh, Muslims, or Christians are killing people too, which is ridiculous. There is no Christian that is killing any Muslim. The fact that somebody is not a Muslim does not make that person Christian by default. You cannot look at this person kidnapped. Oh, this person was this person kidnapped a reverend father, and he used to attend the reverend father's church, or he was a secretary in the church. One of the kidnappers was a secretary in the church. And he kidnapped the reverend father, and later Christians will say that it is a Muslim persecution. First of all, for you to even whine it that way shows that there's something wrong with you. You are now using that, somebody that is clearly, because Christianity is not a matter of um if you are not a Muslim in Nigeria, therefore you are now a Christian. That is not how Christianity works. You have to give your life to Christ. You have to believe in Jesus and live by the Bible. If that is not you, then you are not a Christian. So this is something that people need to understand and acknowledge. There are multiple things happening in the north. There's the genocide of Christians, and there are several other factors. You cannot say that because there are Muslims also get killed, that there's no genocide of Christians. There can be genocide of Christians, and there can be also Muslims getting killed. Two things can happen at once. Keep in mind, I hope you realize that the Ku Klux Klan, for example, in America, killed a lot of white people. You cannot say, and they lynched white people. White people were lynched too. It was not only quote unquote black people that were lynched. Black and white people were lynched. So you cannot say that that the lynching was not a racial thing. That after all, wasn't lynching being done, to a lot of white people. If you look at the number of people that were lynched, more white people were lynched, because lynching is basically hanging without a trial. And hanging was the way, in white culture for a long time to deal with criminals or offenders. Highwaymen, when they were caught, they were all hanged. And you watch cowboy movies. That was from the way, all the hanging scenes you see in cowboy movies, that was the way they dealt with people. Before that, there was the guillotine, where they just chop up people's head with the guillotine, which was invented around that time of the French Revolution. So these are things that you cannot now look at it and say, because the Ku Klux Klan killed or lynched a lot of white people, therefore it wasn't racism. It wasn't a racial issue. So, you now use it and whitewash and say that the Ku Klux Klan issue was just like farmer header clash. It was just violence. It had nothing to do with race. That's stupid to say that. So in the same way, you cannot look at the few instances where Muslims are being killed and then say that there's no Christian genocide because of that. No, there are multiple things happening at once. There are still other kinds of criminals and other motivations for crimes and evil, not just the Christian genocide. And keep in mind, a lot of the Muslims that are killed, most of them are killed for being moderate. They are killed for, like, for example, if you're a Muslim who lives with Christians, when they're coming to kill all the Christians in that place, they'll include you, because it's not like, it's like all of you are Christians, or you are living peacefully with these Christians. That is the reality. And when you look into the stories, you will see that. What is the meaning of Boko Haram? It is no Western education allowed. They are against, those who are not strictly Sharia. So you have the situation of Sunni Muslims, killing Shiites. So, there are the different sub distance of these Muslim beliefs and that beef going on. So all these things going on and all this violence, all this killing, so many things. Then those who were kidnappers before and those who are kidnapping in between. Because first of all, these weapons come from politicians. And then there's the land grabbing that is underneath it, that the politicians are benefiting. Because keep in mind, all this land has minerals inside. So they know Nigeria is wealthy. Nigeria has more oil than Dubai. People don't know that. You can do your research. Nigeria has more oil than Dubai. There are parts of Nigeria that the oil, they have not even begun to drill the oil. It's not only Niger Delta that has oil. Then in addition to oil, there are other minerals. There is even gold. Even in that north that looks dry, there is gold underneath that land that they have not even started mining. There are places where they have found gold, where they have been mining for years and years and decades. They are still mining. There are gold mines there. In South Africa, there are gold mines, they found gold and then they have been mining. In the case of Nigeria, they have not even started. But they have done their research and they have seen that there's gold there. But there are the owners are people that are, some Muslims, some Christians, and, they are poor. So what to do but to carry out a scheme to scare these people off the land? That is why I say that the government is going to allow it, because all these people that are displaced, who now owns the land that they left? And people want to talk about Donald Trump coming to take African resources. Those resources, are they now under the control of the bosses of the Boko Harams and the ISWAPs and all of that, who will now use all that gold and all those resources that is more than the resources of Dubai to now be funding terrorism all around the world? Is that what you want? Because the North is not going to be okay for them. And if they take Nigeria, Nigeria is not going to be okay. It's not going to be enough. They want to take Niger. They want to take Ghana. They will want to take Cameroon. And they want to keep spreading to the rest of Africa. It is a vision of forceful dominance and taking over the whole world with Islam. And they are not playing about it. Since Donald Trump said what he said, it's not even like they pipe down or they relax. They are killing more people. And the Nigerian government is denying it more and lying more to show you how compliant and how evil they are. There needs to be restrictions on all these Nigerian politicians, and all their money they have put in all these foreign bank accounts should be locked up and seized. Because the reality of the matter is that help is not going to come from within Nigeria. That is the truth. Because all the powerful people in Nigeria are evil. And if any good person tries to rise up from within Nigeria, they are not going to be strong enough. There's nobody that is able. There are people who are stupid and want to keep faith in politicians. Look at the Peter Obi. Peter Obi had the mind to open his mouth to say that that rather than making threats, that Donald Trump should work with the Nigerian government. May God punish him in Jesus' name. May God punish Peter Obi. Look, has it not been the US working with Nigeria ever since? But they have said, no, the Nigerian government is the one that is enabling and fighting for this nonsense to continue. All the money, the billions of dollars that no Nigerian has been seeing, but they just entering the politician's pocket. All the billions of dollars that Nigeria has been giving, that Donald Trump has been giving, other politicians, other American politicians has been giving Nigeria to fight terrorism. Where has it been going to? It has been going to the pockets of politicians so that their children can be buying new private jets and cars in foreign countries. That is the same thing that has been happening with Ukraine. Majority of that money that America has been sending to Ukraine, we have now found that most of it is missing. They say that most of it is missing, that many of it do not even assist with the Ukraine war. That is what politicians do. And it's the innocent people that are casualties. This is sad. This is sad. And I will say, we should pray, but when we pray, we must listen and get instruction and act. And it's funny, the situation with Nicki Minaj. It's interesting that it's Nicki Minaj that is speaking for Christians. All the Christian pastors in America, quiet, but they will speak for BLM. It's only, Christian pastors like Eco Church. I respect Eco Church, for their speaking about things like this. A church that is not talking about issues that affect people today is ridiculous. But you want to preach about God will give you money, God will help you. Forget all that. What are you preaching? It's just like during the pandemic, when people were under lockdown, somebody was preaching God is going to bless you and bless you in your job and in your business. What job? What job? We are all under lockdown. We are not allowed to go out and work. And you just ignore that and you are preaching that God will bless you in your work and in your business. What job? What job and what business? So this is crazy. This is crazy. We are going to be praying, and in addition to praying, we will add action to our prayer. It's not enough to pray, but when you pray, you listen, get instruction, and ask. And do something. But this nonsense cannot just keep going on. And it's only Nicki Minaj that is talking about this thing. All the other celebrities, the BLM people, they are quiet. But it's to come out and insult Charlie Kirk. That is what they will do. All the people that are doing Free Palestine, Greta Thunberg, when Christians are being killed, that one is, they cannot talk. All the celebrities and the media is spinning the whole Nicki Minaj thing as, she's supporting Trump. She's supporting Trump administration. It's not about Trump. It's about stopping, the genocide of Christians. And all the whole Christian music industry in America, quiet. All the musicians, all the Christian musicians, quiet. I thank God that, CBN News 700 Club is saying something. I don't know what CBN is doing, but, I thank God for the, 700 Club, folks, who are saying something about it. They have been on this matter, Well, let me leave this here. I'll post another, broadcast some other time.